welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, coming to you partially from our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. I'm a little remote, but we're going to stay in the Lansing area right now. Bob Trezise, President and CEO of the Lansing Economic Area Partnership, LEAP, joins us. Bob, it's always good to see you. How you doing?
It's great to see you, Chris. Thanks for inviting us on and talking about this important issue.
Well, and it is an important issue. This unified list of 10 priorities for statewide growth has been released. Tell me about that and where you stand on that.
Yeah, so Economic Development Leaders for Michigan is a group of nine of the larger regional economic agencies across the state. We represent some 80 or 90% of the population of the state and are deeply involved with both the state and, importantly, local partners in putting together economic development projects and initiatives and policy. And we are really driven as a group over the last 5 years to try to build better continuity and consistency in the state's approach to economic development. And I think we've been pretty successful at that. And we're absolutely apolitical, we're completely bipartisan in nature. But as you and everyone knows, the state's budget process right now seems to be discombobulated, to be kind about it. And there's a lot of uncertainty about our economic development agency statewide, about all of the toolbox, all of the incentives and programs and initiatives that are impacting our communities and people in really major ways every year. And there's a lot of talk about a lot of that, if not all of it, might go away, and that can't be. And at the same time, Chris, by the way, last week the state of Ohio announced a massive new job attraction, business attraction program. So you can sort of like or not like economic development. You can be for or somewhat against economic incentives. The other states don't care. They love it. They will compete and they will win. And if we're not ready to go, they would welcome that. And we don't want that. We want to fight for our hometown, for our home state. And so this is what EDLM is trying to do. So we put on the table statewide. All nine of us have agreed that these are the 10 basic or fundamental aspects of our economic development programming statewide that must be kept in place, if not enhanced, so that we can be competitive. And they touch all areas of economic development. And again, they're really just fundamental. I mean, they're what other states already have. And just as a couple examples, there's something called BDP, which is the way that if a company creates X amount of very good, high-paying jobs, we can reward them with this incentive upon creation of those jobs. And that helps us compete against other states. And we need that just to be funded at the current levels is what we're asking for. Something completely gone from everyone's budget is for the last few years, we've had what's called the RAP placemaking grant, which is highly popular in communities. It can be used for farmers markets, facade programs. It's used for primarily small business and Main Street kind of development. We need that restored. People and communities and small businesses love that program. There's job training, different kinds of job training money that businesses really rely on and people really rely on to upscale their skill sets so they can make more money on the job someday, and that helps businesses be more competitive here in the state of Michigan. We need way more money for entrepreneurial and small business innovation development in our state, where we are substantially behind in funding of helping these businesses, new businesses get up and ramped up and running in our state. And we're trying to, basically restore that funding. And we need smart zone TIF extension. So you can see that across the board, we're talking about community development, business development. It should be bipartisan. There's really nothing political about it at all. And we've got to remain competitive, Chris. So I think it's really serious business, and we're trying to fill a bit of a vacuum in the conversation right now up there at the state legislature on both sides of the aisle in this budget discussion and preserve our competitiveness as a state.
It's kind of interesting because you were very kind in using that word discombobulated. I would say ineptitude, and you can point the finger at everybody in the room up there. Let's talk a little bit about the fact that 84% of Michigan's GDP is related to, to development, and and what is the advantage of doing this on a statewide basis as opposed to what we've been doing, which is regional?
Well, both regional organizations and the state of Michigan work hand in hand in presenting the state of Michigan as one entity when we're dealing with companies from around the world and from around the country. They are typically first comparing state to state, country to country, and then state to state. And then we'll get down and compete region to region in a friendly kind of competition. But that is the only way that you can present, a sense of unification about the qualities of our state.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bob, you do an incredible job, and I'm glad to see this statewide unification. This will be a much bigger voice too, where it needs to
It
be.
will be.
All right, Bob Trezise, President and CEO of the Lansing Economic Area Partnership. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for the good job you do. You are watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman.